Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Lucas Macedo. I'm case manager here at Nivalion, a Swiss legal finance provider active in Europe, Americas, and Asia Pacific. Today, I have the honor to interview Cecilia Flores Rueda, whom you may know for her work at a dispute resolution. She runs her own dispute resolution boutique and has been recognized by chambers and so on and so forth as basically a leading player in the international arbitration sphere. But not only that, Cecilia managed to find time to start a new project after facing or seeing the opportunity of improving online hearings. So today it is my pleasure to be talking to Cecilia, and we can already start with the first question. Cecilia, first things first, what is Real Hearing?
Real Hearing is a full service provider for arbitral hearings. What do I mean with that? Well, you know that at hearings, practitioners do not just appear somewhere and start presenting their cases. No, there are a lot of things that must be taken care of for a hearing to be successful, efficient, and to produce useful information for the arbitral tribunal. To start with, it doesn't matter if the hearing is going to be held in person, if it's virtual or hybrid. One must know where it's going to take place. It could be at a conference room in a hotel, in a law firm's meeting room, or by Zoom. One must also know if interpreters or transcribers will be required and who they are going to be. And finally, you must know if one has all the necessary technology, such as 360-degree cameras, monitors, video, and audio recording, or if you're going to lease them and from whom. As you may see, there is an important number of things to consider, and both the arbitral tribunal and the parties spend considerable energy and time to address such needs. Let me tell you, in my experience as arbitrator and counsel, that is nonsense. Before a hearing, what you need is to focus on the case and not in those technical and administrative tasks. This is where real hearings come into play, to make things easier to everyone, providing all they need for a successful and efficient hearing.
May I say that Real Hearing is the result of the pandemic?
Well, yes and no. During the pandemic, my colleagues and I faced various difficulties when putting together a hearing. For example, looking for a suitable transcriber, we couldn't get 360-degree cameras, not an experienced cameraman who could record and transmit the hearing on a virtual platform. I remember that at some point, a couple of providers just called off at the very last moment because of COVID. We were so frustrated. However, we realized these kind of problems were there even before the pandemic, but the pandemic made them harder. That is how I thought of a reliable, full-service provider for arbitration hearings, and the rest is history. Hence, the pandemic was just an excuse to turn the idea into practice.
What do you mean by a full-service provider?
It means that whatever is needed for a hearing, Real Hearing has it. From a transcriber or a 360-degree camera, a screen, or a cable cord, I mean everything. Administrators of the hearing, interpreters, design of PowerPoint slides, screens, video cameras, you name it, we have it all.
Do you think that Nivalion and Real Hearing have anything in common?
Yes, we both hear arbitrations to happen. On the one hand, Nivalion services help law firms and companies to generate proceedings that otherwise might not have come to pass. On the other hand, Real Hearing assists parties in designing and carrying their hearings smoothly and with time and cost efficiency. It is in my mind that at the end of the day, we both help the arbitration forum to be more active, more dynamic, and more efficient.
You've mentioned that real hearing assists in having more time and cost-efficient proceedings. Do you think that this is a characteristic that we share between real hearing and Nivalion?
Yes, I do. Some companies happen to have some delays with transfer of fees to their external counsel. That might cause a proceeding to be paused, which would increase time and cost of the arbitration. I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, that when Nivalion is part of the equation, that is very difficult to happen. And as your webpage says, because I've done my homework, when Nivalion funds a case, fees and disbursements are paid without delay. Thus, yes, making arbitral proceedings more time and cost efficient is something that Real Hearing and Nivalion share.
Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you very much. You really did your homework. Yes, you're completely right. When Nivalion funds a case, we do make sure that invoices are timely paid. And as you said, both Nivalion and Real Hearing want arbitral proceedings should go forward as smoothly as possible. Still, in terms of cost efficiency, do you believe that clients, funded or not, can actually save financial resources by having Real Hearing on board?
Definitely. First, paying expensive hourly rates for law firms organizing administrative and technical resources with a series of service providers is expensive and time-consuming. Second, by allowing lawyers to do what they do best, focusing on the legal strategy and development of cases, clients and funders have a much higher value of the back of their disbursements. And third, Real Hearing brings in more efficiency with its unique differentials, such as the live transcript feature.
Yes, I would love to know more about live transcript. This sounds like a very interesting feature. What can you tell us about it?
Real Hearing developed Real Hearing Live Transcript, an artificial intelligence software that transcribes almost immediately what is said during a hearing, either virtual, in-person, or hybrid. So at the end of the day, the parties and the arbitral tribunal receive a text of that day of the hearing. Such texts may have some misspelled words, typos, but later they are corrected by Real Hearing's team in a few days. We know that some transcribers may take several days to deliver to the parties a transcription of the hearing. When one is lucky, that can take a couple of weeks or more, depending on the duration of the hearing, and that has a direct impact on the duration of the arbitration. With Real Hearing Live Transcript, you can have a pretty good transcript at the very same time someone's talking, so that counsel may prepare their closing arguments right after the hearing, and the arbitral tribunal may move forward with the drafting of the award. And not only that, the counsel and the arbitral tribunal at the hearing can read from the screen of their computers what is being said at the same time they are listening to it.
Talking about awards, both Nivalion and Real Hearing want their clients to have a final and enforceable award, or at least not be in the way of it. For Nivalion, that can mean, for instance, the disclosure of the existence and identity of the funder. This has been already established in several institutional arbitration rules as a means to avoid conflicts of interest. Now, when I think of hearings with a virtual or online element, my immediate concern would be the breach of confidentiality, or even worse, a hacker or a cyber attack, which, as you know, has already prompted challenges to arbitral awards. How do you ensure then, Cecilia, how do you ensure and protect the confidentiality of proceedings at Real Hearing?
Yes, this is indeed a concern we share. At Real Hearing, we give extreme importance to the confidentiality of proceedings, and protecting them from any undue access is part of our security protocols. Not only we have state-of-the-art technology, but also the personal element with our technicians.
Interesting. Tell us about Real Hearing's technicians.
In an in-person hearing, they can help you out to make all the technical setup. That includes to make sure that microphones, computers, and projectors work smoothly. In a virtual hearing, They are in charge of giving access to counsel, fact and expert witnesses, and to the arbitral tribunal, so that no one has to worry about it. They open and close private rooms, organize tests, assess about the advantages of different virtual platforms, and also if the devices have the required technology and updates. Also, they are ready to assist throughout the hearing in case any difficulty that may appear.
We heard that some counsel and arbitral tribunals were skeptical of virtual hearings and that some didn't even take place due to concerns to miss something in the examination of experts. How is Real Hearing dealing with this?
I think that at the beginning of the pandemic, most of us were only used to medium quality cameras as tools to hold a virtual hearing. However, things have changed, and now laymen know how to get out the most of their cameras and computers, and some others have even tried more professional equipment. Now we are using the technology we should have used before the pandemic, and we have realized it works perfectly well, and that we can reduce time and costs in arbitration. Just take a look to the performance of the 300-degree cameras. They are amazing, and our clients are very happy with them.
Cecilia, you're based in Mexico, and Real Hearings was conceived in Mexico. Does that mean that you are only addressing the Mexican market? Or how will Real Hearing provide services in other countries? Is that like Nivalion, headquartered here in Switzerland, but really active all over the world?
Mexico is Real Hearing's home, but the scope of its services is international. We have partners around the world to which equipment may be sent for our clients, and our technicians provide online support. Moreover, we have developed tutorials to help with installing the equipment, and with the technology we have developed, we can provide services wherever they are required.
Why do you think that Real Hearing's transcriptions are different than other service providers?
We are different in at least two ways. First, with my more than 25 years of experience in international arbitration, I know what the arbitration forum looks for in a transcript. That's what Real Hearing offers, transcriptions according to the best practices of the forum. Second, our transcript reviewers. We have a team of trained professionals that review the transcript before we deliver them to our clients, so that the transcript is accurate.
So we come to an end of our interview. I would like to close this with a message to our audience. What do you think, Cecilia, is the best feature of Real Hearing?
The best about us is that counsel and the arbitral tribunal just get rid of the heavy load implied in organizing a hearing. They are relieved of such load so that they can focus on the important part, the case. I like to think we are like the wedding planners for arbitral hearings. Our clients enjoy all the process. They select the features, but we are the ones making it happen swiftly.